What's up everyone, welcome to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going over 8 important SEO benchmarks to monitor every single month. So this is going to be the third part of my Surfside PPC SEO tutorial for beginners. I'm going to have at least 10 parts coming out, including a full course for search engine optimization. I'm going to have every single video that I create added to this playlist here, SPPC SEO tutorial for beginners. I'll put the link to this playlist in the video description and leave it as the top comment for this video so you can easily find it and watch all of my tutorials. So if we come back over here, I just want to go over some of the different benchmarks that I monitor each month with my own websites, and I tie them all back to search engine optimization. So the 8 important SEO benchmarks are conversion value from organic search, total conversions from organic search, total organic search traffic. Those I think are really the 3 most important things to monitor. And then the other things that I look at are total clicks from Google Search Console, total impressions from Google Search Console, average click-through rate, Google Search Console, and then I'll look at total clicks from Bing Webmaster Tools and total indexed pages in Google Search Console. So the first 3 benchmarks here, I use Google Analytics to get this data. Where for 4, 5, 6, and 8, I use Google Search Console, and then for number 7, I use Bing Webmaster Tools. I would say the top 6 here are the ones that I really focus on the most, but there's really no downside to monitoring total clicks from Bing and Yahoo and the total index pages that you have in the Google search engine. Now, if you're wondering exactly what a benchmark is, so here's a definition just from Oxford. It's a standard or point of reference against which things may be compared or assessed. So you can decide which benchmarks, which statistics you want to monitor for your website and search engines, and you can look at which time periods are going to be the best for your own business. So you can look at 12 months, 18 months. You might just want to look at something like 3 months. So generally what I'll do is I'll look at last year's data, compare it to this year, because that takes into account seasonality. And then I'll look at things like 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, and just look at the previous month. So kind of look at all the different data that I have and kind of understand how my website is growing, especially in search engines. Now, in order to get started with monitoring your own data, you're going to need to complete 5 steps. So those 5 steps are installing Google Analytics on your website, installing Google Search Console on your website, installing Bing Webmaster Tools, setting up your conversion data in Google Analytics, and then just keeping track of the monthly results. So I'm not going to go over each of these individual steps here. Very easy to install Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Bing Webmaster Tools, and set up conversion data in Google Analytics. There's a lot of guides and resources about how to do these things. You can even find some of them on my channel. If you look in the video description, I'll put some of this information in the video description if you want to find it. You can also just do a quick Google search if you're not familiar with installing Bing Webmaster Tools, for example. Very easy to do all of these things. So this is where you want to get started so you can keep track of all of the benchmarks for your own data for your website. Now, what you want to do is use a program like Microsoft Excel or use Google Sheets, and you want to set up a spreadsheet that looks something like this. I'll share this spreadsheet. I'll leave it in the video description. It'll be a direct download link, and I'll put it as a top comment as well so you can easily download this spreadsheet and just import your own data for your website. So you're going to see SEO benchmarks, and I'm going to be doing this today for my website, beachfrontdecor.com. So for this website, I'm going to show you all of my SEO benchmarks, and this is actual data for my website, and we're starting with January 2019. And since we're through November and into December, I don't have December's data yet. I'm creating this video on December 16th, 2019. So I have data all the way through November 2019. So once December is complete, we get into January 2020, then I can update this data and move on to the next year of my spreadsheet into 2020. So basically what you want to do is keep this updated every single month, and you're going to see the first 3 things here. I use Google Analytics data, so conversion value, total conversions, and total traffic. The traffic is going to be tied back to organic search for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Google Analytics for Beachfront Decor. If I open Google Analytics here, you can see I have my dates going back to January 1st. You can go further back. I'm going to show some examples for this from November just to make the data really easy and clean to look at. But if you want to look at monthly data just like this, then what you can do is come into your Google Analytics account for your website, go to the Acquisition tab to the left and click on Overview here, and we scroll down and you're going to see where your traffic comes from: organic search, social, direct, referral, other, paid search. So if I come over here and click on organic search, it's going to pull up my total traffic from organic search. And you can see here, it's going to have users and it's going to have every single day here. So one easy way is just to click on month. So that's going to give you the data for each individual month: January, February, March, April. And generally what I'll do is I'll monitor sessions instead of users, so I can see the total sessions tied back to organic search. So if I click here, instead of doing users here, I'll do sessions. So now it's giving me how many sessions are tied back to organic search every single month. And I can take this data, and let's just come over here to November. You're going to see 9617 for sessions. Come over to SEO Benchmarks. And if we scroll down in traffic here, you're going to see 9617. So you just want to take this data, import it directly into your own spreadsheet. Now, if you just feel more comfortable keeping everything on Google Analytics and Google Search Console and just monitoring it manually, that's no problem either. The main benefit to keeping SEO benchmarks is as you enter your data here, as I enter December's data, let's just say my traffic is something like 7190. Let's just say that's an example number here. I can look back at this data and see that there's been a drop off, and it's basically down to as low as it's been almost all year. So then I can start to look at why that might have happened by going into Google Search Console and looking at my Google Analytics data and seeing which pages have dropped off in terms of search engine traffic. So I think that's what the main benefit of this is to be able to understand when you do see some of these drop-offs, why is it occurring? And sometimes you might just have something like seasonality here. So if you look at July 2019, that's the busiest month of the year for beach decor. So people who are getting to their beach homes, people are decorating their beach homes. Since people are at the beach really the most during the summer, you can see that my traffic jumps usually in June, July, and August. So my goal is for the rest of the year to try to keep it as high as possible as well. But seeing a peak in July for this business is not uncommon, and it's generally something that I see every single year, which is why it's great to keep some of this data from previous years as well. So let's just get rid of this number here, but this is basically the way I do it is I'll come into Google Analytics and I'll look at this data here. So I look at my traffic number, and then what I can do is come over to Analytics again, and let's just come over to the date here, and we're just going to click on November. So I'm just going to do November 1st to November 30th, click on Apply. And if I scroll down, you're going to see just right at the top here, it's just going to show 961 sessions. So if I keep scrolling down, the next thing I want to look at are conversions. So there's different types of conversions you can set up for your own website. For this particular website, I look at a few different conversions. So one of them is outbound click, one of them is 3 page views, one of them is duration, and then I also have newsletter. So there's different types of goals you can set up. If you're running an e-commerce website, then you really just want to use your e-commerce conversions. So every time someone completes a transaction on your website, since Beachfront Decor is an affiliate marketing website, I really keep track of my overall revenue going to different sources like Wayfair.com, like Amazon.com, and then also with Google AdSense ads. So different way to monetize this website than a standard e-commerce website. So I don't actually keep track of every single transaction that happens on my website. I have to keep track of this data a little bit differently, but I'm able to do that using Google Analytics. And essentially what I do is I look at my conversions tied back to duration. So you can see here, if I just look at conversions, goal to, duration, and goal completions, you can see there's been 881 goal completions tied back to organic search. So I did that by coming into all traffic and then in channels, clicking on organic search, and you can see 881 right here. So if I come back over here, you can see that number 881. And then the last thing is going to be value. So for value, I look at a couple different data points. And if we come to analytics here, what I can do is what I look at here is click on this drop down. So you can change this different data points here. And you can also do sessions versus another one. So I can put keep sessions here and then click here. And what I'll do is I'll click on summary. And the data point that I use here is I scroll down and I use goal value. So this keeps track of basically the value of the traffic on my website. It's not a perfect number, but it's pretty close to what the website earns based on the traffic from organic search. So if I come over here, you're going to see goal value is 1976. So if I come back over here, SEO Benchmarks 1976, 881 conversions, and 9,617 sessions tied back to search engines. So those are the ways that I keep track of these numbers. Now next is going to be Google Search Console. So if I come into Google Search Console here for my website, I have beachfrontdecor.com open. You can see performance here, you can see coverage here. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go over this final SEO benchmark is indexed pages. So one of the things I do is I come to my overview screen here, and every single month I'll see with coverage and click on open report, and I'll see how many pages I have indexed. So right now it's showing valid 17,325, and the number that I use is the first of every month. So you don't have to do this. I keep track of how many index pages I have because usually as my index pages increases, so does my search engine traffic. So it's just something I keep track of, but really it's not something that I think is as important as some of these other statistics here that I keep track of. So what I'll do is I'll come back to Google Search Console, and I love using Google Search Console because it shows me how my website is performing in Google. So if I click on Open Report here, you can see search type web, date, last 3 months, total clicks, total impressions, average click-through rate. These are the 3 things I really look for and optimize for. You can also optimize for average position, but what I'll do is I'll look at these 3 data points and then I'll click on date. So what I can do is just click on start date here, come over and just go to November 1st, and then come to end date and go to November 30th. So we'll click on November 30th here, click on apply, and it will show me my total clicks, total impressions, and my average click-through rate for that month. And then I can take this data, put it directly into my SEO benchmarks. Now the last thing is going to be Bing Webmaster Tools. Now I don't get a ton of traffic through Bing Webmaster Tools in my Webmaster Tools account for Beachfront Decor. You can see it's only showing 19 clicks. So the data that I've actually used, I just pulled directly from Google Analytics. So I have my default channel grouping, organic search, scroll down, and under primary dimension, I'll click on source. So this will show me how much traffic I have tied back to Bing and Yahoo. If we come over here, you can see with my website, farmhousegoals.com, I get a lot more clicks through Bing Webmaster Tools showing here. So this website does much better in Bing and Yahoo than Beachfront Decor does. It's something I want to improve Beachfront Decor on in the following year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to SEO Benchmarks. I'll put down that number. And now why this is all important is as I enter my December data, if I scroll down here, what I can do is I can look at my yearly benchmark, my 6-month benchmark, my 3-month benchmark, and my 2018 benchmark. So if I look at yearly and compare it to 2018, you can see I'm trending upwards for every single data point that I keep track of related to search engine optimization. The one area that I need to improve is this click-through rate in organic search, specifically in Google search. So this has dropped off over the last 3 months compared to this year and compared to last year. So that's something that if I am able to increase, and especially if I'm able to get it up to around 2.2% where it was earlier in the year, then I can actually drive more and more clicks back to my website. But this is why I keep track of all this, because then as I do enter my December data, let's just say enter some example data here. Let's just say $1,800, and let's just say 800 conversions, and so on and so forth. As I enter all this data, I'm able to compare this data to my yearly benchmark, my 6-month benchmark, my 3-month benchmark, and my total 2018 benchmark. And then since I have the data from previous years, I can click on these spreadsheets and I can compare my December 2019 to December 2018. And ultimately what my goal usually is to double every single month in the following year. So in July 2020, I would like to double all these numbers. I don't know if that's feasible. I don't know if that's something I'm going to be able to do, but that's just the goal that I set for myself, because if I can keep track of all these benchmarks, I can understand that as I can continue to improve my website, add more content to my website, and improve existing content, then I can continue to increase the amount of clicks that are coming back to my website from search engines. If I see these numbers drop off, the first thing I usually do is I'll come here to Google Search Console, and let's just say I'll look at the last 3 months data. We'll compare. We'll look at the last 3 months to previous period. I'll click on apply. So you'll see I've had a little bit of a drop off over the last 3 months compared to the previous 3 months. A lot of that for this website is due to seasonality. I've had my click-through rate drop a little bit, so that's something where I'd really want to improve, but my average position has also dropped from 20.6 to 21.7. So there's been a little bit of a drop off over the last 3 months. What I'll do is I'll look at search terms and see what has dropped off. So last 3 months click, previous 3 months clicks. So I've actually lost a lot of clicks just for my brand name. And then you'll see things, coastal bedroom furniture, I've lost clicks here. Nautical Christmas decor, I've gained a lot of clicks. So again, due to seasonality, mermaid Christmas ornaments gained a lot of clicks. The other thing I like to do is look at pages. So I like to look at which pages have had a little bit of a drop off here. Now, because I have so much data here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of some of these just so it's a little bit easier to look at. So we have total clicks and we have it tied back to some of these different pages here. So you can see last 3 months versus previous 3 months, and there's the difference here. So if you click on difference, you can see what has gained a lot. You can see everything is tied to Christmas, and then you can see what has lost a lot. So my shop page in particular, beach coastal bedroom furniture, beach themed bedroom ideas. So there's different reasons why some of these might have dropped off. Some of it is really just seasonality, and some of it is that I might be losing search engine rankings. So I need to go back to these pages, update some of the content, improve some of the content, maybe create new content related to these subjects and these topics. So I'm covering the entirety of all the keywords that I want to rank for that are tied back to these pages. So if I click on an individual page, it'll add that page to the filter up here. And then the other thing I can do is come over here and look at the search terms tied back to that page and see where I've lost some of the traffic for those search terms. So you can see here, people typing in coastal bedroom furniture, I've lost 85 clicks over the last 3 months. Coastal bedroom sets, I've lost 38 clicks. So what I need to do is go back to my website, make sure I improve that content, update that content, make sure it's as relevant as possible, and then I can make sure that I'm not losing my search engine traffic. And the reason that I'm able to do this is by keeping track of all these different SEO benchmarks on a monthly basis, and I can understand why I'm having some drop-offs and maybe why I'm having some increases as well. So hopefully this helps. These are some of the different SEO benchmarks that I keep track of. To come back to it one more time, the 8 different benchmarks that I focus on are conversion value from organic search, total conversions from organic search traffic. The top 3 are all from Google Analytics, total clicks from Google Search Console, total impressions from Google Search Console, and average click-through rate from Google Search Console, along with total index pages. So this just tells me a lot about how my website is performing in the Google search engine. And then last but not least is total clicks, Bing Webmaster Tools. So the last 2 I don't focus on as much as the first 6, but I think they're all really important to monitor for your website to make sure that you're seeing increases across the board, especially over the course of 3 months, 6 months, a year, and comparing your data to the previous year. So if you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.